Nepal, home of the Himalayas, Mount Everest, and arguably the world's greatest long-distance trek, the Annapurna Circuit. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll be hiking the entire route from its beginning in Besisahar all the way round the Annapurna mountain range before going over the Thorong La Pass and looping back round to Pokhara. This is the Annapurna Circuit, trekking the Himalayas. Day 15 on the Annapurna Circuit, and we left Jomsom on the same dusty road we'd arrived by the day before. Needless to say, none of us were sad to be leaving this particular part of the trail behind.
This part is really unpleasant. Can't wait for this section to finish. I'm gonna get back on the trails, man.
As always on this section, the endless stream of buses and trucks combining with the wind of the Kaligandaki Valley made for another unenjoyable, dusty day on the trail. Fortunately, we didn't have far to go, as the next stop was the tranquil village of Marpha, after which we'd be on the proper trails again.
We finally made it to Marpha. It's only about 6 k's away from Jomsom. And straight off the dust road, instantly better. Really cool, chilled out little village by the looks of it. Main reason we're actually dropping into here is it's famous for apples and everything that goes with it. Apple pies, etc. But also, it means cider and apple brandy, so we might be getting a little bit drunk today. Okay, so as I mentioned before, Marpha is famous for its apples and everything that comes with being famous for apples, including cider. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Who's gonna go first?
Oh, that's good.
That's quite strong.
That's good. That's got a serious kick to it. It's pretty good.
It tastes very alcoholic.
Yeah, it does taste strong actually.
So we'll definitely be drinking a lot of this today, I think.
Ooh.
Having indulged a little bit too much in Marpha's famous produce the day before, we hit the trail again the next day in various levels of apple-induced delirium.
So, day 16, and we're leaving lovely Marpha. Unfortunately, we've got a couple of k's to go back on this horrible, dusty, windy road. And we are a 3 again, because unfortunately Martin had to leave 7 o'clock this morning. He's got a flight in a couple of days, so he had to get a taxi back. And so it's just us 3 again. We miss him already. Even this horse misses him, don't you? Our next port of call, we think, is Lake Titi. Don't laugh. Lake Titi. We're going to Titi Lake, and probably 20% because it sounds like a cool place and there's some fun things to see around there. But to be honest, 80% of the reason we're going to Titi Lake is because it's called Titi Lake. Finally, we're off the dust road and we're at last getting back to nice greeny pastures. Walking through these sort of flat river plains for a while, we've realised the path I think we need is up here, which usually would be a little bit difficult to get to, but luckily for us there's been a massive landslide, so hopefully we can just walk up that and catch a path that way. And this looks like a pretty sketchy part of the path. Out of time bits a day. It's 5 o'clock now, so we've got max really an hour left of walking. Hopefully now we'll be able to get not to Titi, unfortunately, but we are going to go for equally as hilariously named Kokatanti, which is just before Titi. I love that they're right next to each other. So we've arrived in Kokkotanti, but doesn't look like anyone's home. This is somewhat of a ghost town. Hopefully we can find one place, because it's an hour walks to the next village. Alright, it's even later still. I think now finally coming into Kalopani, which I hope has got somewhere to stay, otherwise we're pretty screwed. Well, we're about to find out either way. Guest house. Found! And some extra strong beers for our trouble. Cheers. Alrighty. Good morning from Kalopani on this very precarious bridge going over quite a large river. Because we had to press on and go to a place where we knew we could find accommodation, we missed out on Lake Titi, and Rob was pretty inconsolable, I would describe it as. So we're taking a little side trip there now. So it turns out Titi was worth it. Look at this. Beautiful. Now, we've got one of the big Annapurnas right up there as well. Huge, we saw it on the way up. But unfortunately, one cloud in the sky and it's right in front of the mountain. But, oh well, you can't have it all.
A short side trek from Kokkotanti or Kalopani, Titi Lake serves as both a hub of biodiversity and an excellent viewpoint of some of the surrounding peaks. After a drive to clear up the area by local government, the lake and its surroundings have become one of the most serene spots on this section of the Annapurna.
So we thought our time on the gravelly, dusty, shitty roads was over, but apparently this section of the trail, they've completely destroyed some of the trekking paths. You can see behind me here, the bridge over here, they've just totally taken away the side of the hill, meaning that we A, have to go a longer way round, and B, walk on a shittier trail, or a shitty, dusty road shared by about seemingly 1 million trucks. A million tourist vans. motorbikes, everything was just constantly kicking up dust into our face. I've got it in my eye again. So it's rant time officially. Nepal, if they want to keep what's so special about this part of the Himalayas, they should stop the development right now, because there's definitely parts here where, I'm going to be honest, it's unenjoyable to walk. Now I know on most sort of travel videos they want to make everything look amazing and a lot of the time make it look a lot better than it actually is, but this is shit what they've done here. I'd be feeling like I'd be dishonest if I wasn't telling you how it is. So I want to show you the, as well as the good, also the bad and the really, really shitty parts as well. So this construction all the time is just going on and none of the roads are seemingly finished at all. Namaste. Some guys working on the road. Yeah, and they're just leaving rocks, dust everywhere. Now, there's a lot of problems with this road. Firstly is that it skips so much of the Annapurna Circuit. So A, it ruins a lot of the sort of landscape, the aesthetic of it all. And the second is that the business of the people at the very beginning and very end of the Annapurna trek, they suffer, their business suffer. They've got guest houses there and restaurants and they're relying on people to walk past to get to these places. And now that this road's built, this shitty road, they're losing out on business. The people who are walking this trail, you lose a lot of what is really special about this landscape. And there are parts where you have to try and imagine what some of these valleys looked like before they built these huge roads, seemingly unfinished roads through them. They looked like they were beautiful. And now, I mean, just look, now this is just, I haven't just stopped and chosen this bit, like this is the story everywhere. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much my rant over for now. I'm sure there'll probably be another one if we go back on these shitty roads. But yeah, a couple points worth mentioning. Oh look, there's a massive dust tornado coming towards us. Check this out. But a couple points worth mentioning if you are going to do the Annapurna. Number one, definitely a buff or some sort of face mask. We saw a couple people walking the trek in the first sort of few days or so with the face masks on, and we were sort of kind of laughing at them a little bit, but we realised pretty quickly why they were doing it, so smart move. Yeah, it's face mask or a buff, anything to cover your mouth. And yeah, the other one is appropriate sort of eyewear. You want some sunglasses that are sort of adequately shaped for keeping out all this dust and grit in the air. You see my ones, they're not really very good. They're open at the sides here. So a lot of dust's often getting in my eye, and I have had like eye problems at least once or twice from it on this trip. So yeah, bring like sort of wrap around sunglasses as well as a buff or a face mask. Another Jeep. Yeah, make sure your eyes and mouth are covered, or that you have things to cover them with if you're undertaking this trek, because you will need them.
Day 18 on the Annapurna Circuit, and having finally left the dust roads for good, we can focus on the long walk to Tatopani, which, due to being a lot lower in altitude, would make for a very pleasant, sunny and mostly downhill day's trekking.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There's a special time of day in the Himalayas when the sun starts rising up a bit, the temperature increases, and the air starts to become a little bit thick with a certain smell. I can't quite pick it out what it is.